Hi Aquarius, welcome to your 2022 forecast with me, Shanna Cross at apogeethemoon.com. And so I am, doing a 2022 forecast for all 12 signs. So you are second to last. Sorry about that, but we'll dive in. We'll get this done and we'll see what's coming for you in 2022. If you're Aquarius, Sun, Moon, Rising, we have a lot of changes going on, especially for the fixed signs. The fixed signs are still under pressure, even more so now with eclipses, in Taurus and Scorpio. So this is affecting us in really big and really profound ways. So the way this is going to be structured is that starting off, I'm going to be talking about the sun and the moon, the nodes, the eclipses, and then moving on into the planets and the retrograde cycles and will they'll be this year. So that being said, we're going to start with January 2nd, which is having a new moon in Capricorn at 12 degrees. And the reason I'm talking about this one specifically, even though it's not related to the eclipses, it is related to a very prominent singularity point in the charts that happened in January of 2020, pre-pandemic. January 12th of 2020 is when we had Pluto, the Sun, Saturn, and Mercury all at 22 degrees of Capricorn here. And so Venus will be at this exact point of 22 degrees at the new moon in Capricorn. This is happening in your 12th house. This is a hidden house away from the world. This could be, something from the past. This could be a release of old paradigms. This could be a new beginning in terms of your spiritual practice or what it is that you're practicing behind the scenes. It is Capricorn. This could be a release of old structured ways of self-sabotage as well, because the 12th house is also a place where we kind of go to sabotage ourselves. It's also where we go for rest, where our dreams, our unconscious mind. So that is there. And so there's definitely something being activated here in this 12th house for you with Venus coming conjunct. Like there could be an ending on the home front because Venus does rule your 4th house of home, family, property. So there could definitely be something going on behind the scenes in terms of what's going on with a property. Even maybe you're thinking about moving if that's applicable to you. So just be aware that that energy is incoming. And Venus is now, as I'm filming this, Venus is in Capricorn right now. So that's probably already started for you. So we also have the nodes officially entering Taurus and Scorpio on January 19th of 2022. So this is shifting the energy from your 5th and your 11th house of, fun, joy, play, and group associations, people that you associate with by choice, your networks, things like that. And it's moving into your 4th house of home, family, property, parents, lineage, things like that. And your career, your public standing, your public reputation, how you're known in the world, what you want to be known as, who you want to be known by, right? Or how you want to be known. And so that is officially happening. And on between February 6th and 16th, expect that there will be some type of manifestation point because the nodes will be at 27 degrees of Taurus and Scorpio. So whatever was coming up for you around the partial lunar eclipse in November of 2021, expect there to be a revisit and a manifestation of what that eclipse represented for you. This has to do with your home, your family, your property, a crisis point between what you're doing out in the world and what's going on behind the scenes where you come home to lay your head every night, right? So expect there to be a manifestation point because we will be having that full moon in Leo in your 7th house at 27 degrees on February 16th, squaring the nodes exact. So this is a fulfillment on some level or an action that needs to be taken on what was going on for you in that, in that sphere of life between career and home and family. And so there was that. And then, the full moon, this is happening in your 7th house of contracts, agreements, and negotiations. So there could be, you know, a contract on the home front for you, whether it's the purchase or sale of a home, or something happening in the life of, you know, your parents in terms of where they're living or what have you. So just be aware that that could be manifesting as well. And then on April 30th, we do have the very first partial solar eclipse of the year. Both solar eclipses are partials, both lunars are total. So there is definitely more of an emphasis on the culminations and completions and the finalizations and reevaluations in our life of old, stuck, stagnant ways of doing things, and new beginnings too, right? And this first eclipse is with Uranus. You know, it's 4 degrees away. It is well within orb to wreak havoc with this eclipse and blast us in a completely different direction than we thought we were going in this area of Taurus for you at 10 degrees. If this is anywhere near your IC point or any planets or any points that you have, you know, in any of the other fixed signs of Taurus, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius, you know, this is definitely going to hit you really hard, you know, on the nose, literally. So, you know, with Uranus there at 14 degrees, this is wild surprises, wild upswings, or going left in terms of what's going on the home and the family front. But this chart in particular is really interesting because it's a very auspicious chart. I say auspicious because there's a lot of trines, a lot of sextiles, a lot of very supportive energy happening, you know, with this eclipse. The one thing is that Pluto is stationing to go retrograde in your 12th house at this point, you know, and it is at the end degrees of Capricorn. So there's definitely some things behind the scenes that still need to be taken care of. And I don't want to say liberated because that's more of a Uranus term, but there's things that need very deep seated things that need to be focused on and kind of dug out at the root and evaluated, if that makes sense for you. And then on May 16th, we do have that total lunar eclipse at 25 degrees of Scorpio. This is happening in your 10th house, and this is squaring Saturn in your sign. So this can see you specifically feeling the burden and limitation of what is going on the home front versus what's going on in the career sector. What aspect needs to be let go in terms of what it is that you're doing out in career to have something at the home front, or maybe there's something that was going on the home front that is now coming to a really big end. And it's going to take kind of that more authority of you with, you know, yeah, Saturn being a co-chart ruler for you. But this is also like Uranus is also a chart ruler for you. So these eclipses happening with Saturn and Uranus are really going to affect you very powerfully. And so just be aware of that as well. So at this lunar eclipse on May 16th, Mercury will be retrograde in Gemini. Gemini is your 5th house of fun, play, joy, children, things you love to do because you love to do them, hobbies. So there's a reevaluation going on maybe of what you're doing in hobby or what's going on with your children. And so, you know, that's going on at this eclipse. And then Venus is also in Aries. And so Aries is your 3rd house of your siblings, your community, the people in your community, your neighbors, your neighborhood, short distance trips. And it's Venus is with Chiron. And so there could be maybe some things going on with your parents' siblings specifically, because, you know, this is your 4th house ruler in your 3rd house. So this could be your aunts or uncles or something like that, or even cousins, and there's something going on with them in terms of health and wellness, right? Because Chiron does have rulership over that. And then Mars is in your 2nd house, cutting away. It could be the cutting away of a resource for you, or an old value system that's no longer serving you. And it's going to happen in a very weird and bizarre way. Or it could be you focusing really heavily on your finances and what needs to go and what needs to stay, that kind of thing too. And it is with Pisces and Neptune, or it is with Neptune in Pisces. Sorry about that. And so it could be very nebulous and really weird to kind of go through whatever's going on here for you. It is in trine though with this total lunar eclipse, because Neptune is at 22, 23 degrees, and this eclipse is happening at 25 degrees. So it is in trine with what's going on with your career. So there could definitely be money associated with career around this time as well for you. October 25th, we do have a partial solar eclipse at 2 degrees of Scorpio. This is a brand new beginning, or something that is being brought back from the past that's being reintegrated in a new and different way, going forward in terms of your career and what you're doing it with your public standing and reputation, as well as authority figures, people in positions of power and authority over you, or you yourself owning, if you own your own business, bossing up and being that way. It's also the legacy you want to leave behind after you're gone. So how you want people to remember you. So there's definitely some things going on here, maybe some things coming in from the past, for reintegration or letting go completely, in that term. And then we do have the November 8th total lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Taurus with Uranus again and squaring Saturn, and Mars is retrograde in your 5th house. So that's a lot. So this full moon eclipse happening in Taurus in your 4th house of home and family, Uranus has been here for several years, kind of shaking things up, kind of moving things around, getting, maybe you're not as home as you want to, or maybe the things that are going on at the home front is very disruptive, or something's very disruptive in the life of your parents, or the people that you live with. And Mars and squaring Saturn, at the same time is kind of seeing you in a position of being an authority because Saturn rules you. And so what this could be is maybe you having to be a boss, and, kind of taking control of a situation that has to do with, your career and your home life, or maybe you're feeling the pressure and the burden to take charge with this. And then Mars in retrograde at the same time in Gemini is happening in your 5th house. So this is in trine with your ascendant, sun or moon, and in sextile with your descendant. So this can definitely be, something really pivotal happening in terms of what it is that you're passionate about. Boyfriend, girlfriend energy. This can see maybe even being very passionate about a hobby, or, this is sex even. So Mars here could be upping the sex drive just a bit. But yeah, there's definitely, with Mars retrograde here, there's a reevaluation going on in terms of the things that bring you joy and how you're expressing yourself through that joy as well. So there is that. And then we move on to Mercury and Mercury retrogrades for the year. So there will be 4 Mercury retrogrades in 2022. At least, 3 of them will complete, and then 1 of them will begin and then complete in 2023. But we are starting the year off on January 14th, Mercury stations to go retrograde at 10 degrees of Aquarius. And so this is coming retrograde in your sign, which means you yourself are reevaluating old patterns, old beliefs, old spiritual or spiritual beliefs, practices, things that you do behind the scenes, things that nobody else really knows, your deep unconscious. And with Pluto here too, this is our deep unconscious desires as well coming to the surface. And with Mercury going retrograde here, I mean, some of you could be starting, secret affairs. I'm just going to put it the way I see it, because Mercury does rule your 5th house of romance and sex, and this could be a secret affair that happens for some of you, not for all of you. So if you're cross-watching, do not take that this is your partner starting a secret affair. Oh my gosh, no, that's not what that means. Not for everyone. It depends on how the chart is set up and what's going on. But this could also be seeing you yourself as an Aquarius person, reevaluating how you're self-sabotaging or how you're sabotaging yourself, or what you're doing behind the scenes in secret, or the rest and reprieve that you need, or even reevaluating dreams, if that's applicable to you. If you're a dreamer and you dream things, it could be a reevaluation of that as well. And then Mercury retrograde on May 10th, starting out at 4 degrees of Gemini, going back into Taurus. This is going retrograde in your 5th house into your 4th house. And so what this could be is a reevaluation of even a child moving in or out of the house, right? In May, in May to June, this could see that this, like some kids went off to college and they're coming back, or maybe there's something else going on here, but this is a reevaluation of what it is that you're passionate about, your children, your lovers, love affairs, things like that. And coming back into the 4th house of maybe someone is moving in, maybe there's a lover that you have that's moving into the house with you, or maybe there's someone that's moving out of the house. And so that's going to take up a little bit of that energy, in May to June. And then in September, we do have Mercury going retrograde in Libra. This is happening in your 9th house and retrograding back into your 8th house. So this could definitely see reevaluating your worldview, or how you frame the reality around you, your dogma, your soapbox kind of belief systems. And so this could see you reevaluating that in partnership with other people as well, but also reevaluating what's going on with joint finances, or how that money is spent jointly. Or it could be, taxes, inheritances, things like that going on. And so there's a reevaluation going on from that. It could even be an institution. Maybe, you're getting audited or something. Some people could be going through that, not everyone, but if it's applicable to you, right? And then on December 29th, we do have Mercury station to go retrograde again at 24 degrees. There's something with this 24-degree mark because it stations to go direct at 24 degrees in February of 2022, and then stations to go retrograde here. So there's kind of a continuation of what was going on for you in January and February of 2022 from December, right? So there's something that needs to be reevaluated here and reintegrated back, and redone, that maybe wasn't working for the year, or wasn't working in general. So there is that as well. And this is happening again in your 12th house of behind the scenes, what's going on behind the scenes, maybe that spiritual practice, or this secret kind of thing that was going on needs to be reevaluated, because maybe it's not working, or maybe it's not working the way you want it to. Or there could be a revisit of some old ways of sabotaging yourself, or a need to rest, a need to pull away from the world. And so there's a reevaluation of how you go about doing that specifically. And so then we have Venus and Mars. And so to start the year off with, we do have Venus in retrograde in Capricorn. She went retrograde on December 19th of 2021 at 26 degrees, going all the way back to 11 degrees of Capricorn on January 29th, and going direct after that. And so there's definitely a reevaluation going on. This could be, it's Venus, right? So it's a benefic planet. There could be someone helping you reevaluate from a distance, or even an institution reevaluating what's going on in your deep psychological mind. This could be maybe reaching out to a medical institution for, maybe like brain scans or something like that. And I say that just because it is Capricorn. Venus does rule in the 9th house. And Venus also rules your 4th house. So it could be, if it's not you, it could be someone that you live with, something like that. But this could also in general be, having to reevaluate how it is that you're pulling yourself out of the day-to-day, what you're doing for your rest, or how you're resting, or why you're resting. And so Venus is a positive influence here, helping you feel that when you are rested, you can, you have to fill your cup before you fill anyone else's, right? So there is that as well. And then we do have Mars going retrograde on October 30th and at 25 degrees of Gemini all the way back to 8 and stationing go direct in 2023. So the beginning of this Mars retrograde is seeing us reevaluate what's really been going on here for the last few years in Gemini for you in that 5th house. Because if you remember correctly, in 2020, we had Venus go retrograde through these same degrees of Gemini. It's starting at 25 degrees all the way back to 5 degrees. And so in 2021, Mercury went retrograde over these same degrees again. And so now here in 2022, we have Mars going retrograde here. So there's something that is really, something that you're really passionate about, something that you're feeling really fired up about, something that you really want to take hold of, seize. It could be romance, it could be sex, it could be children, it could be hobbies, it could be fun, it could be play. It could be all of that. It could even be self-expression. And so there's a reevaluation going on here about how you go about doing that, how you go about pursuing the things that you're passionate about. And with Mars here, it's taking action on that in that reevaluation. And it's an active reevaluation versus passive. And I do want to touch on February 14th, Venus and Mars come exact conjunct at 14 degrees of Capricorn. Venus has just stationed to go direct, a couple weeks prior. And so she's not moving very fast. So Mars is catching up to her. They're moving together. They're going through this Capricorn area of your life, specifically your 12th house. And so there could definitely be around this time in February to March, a reevaluation of what's going on behind the scenes, self-sabotage, pulling away from the world, rest, reprieve, relaxation, hospitals, ashrams, retreat centers, rehabilitation centers, addictive patterns, even up for reevaluation. And then on March 7th, they do enter Aquarius together. They come into your 1st house together. So this can see you being very fired up and very passionate yourself about something going forward. And because Jupiter and Saturn did come conjunct at this 0 degree point in December of 2020 with Mars and Venus entering, it's kind of another evolution of this energy of this 20-year cycle that Saturn and Jupiter set off in this area for you yourself, starting this new era. And now there's another evolution of it with Venus and Mars being conjunct as they enter Aquarius. So just so you're aware, you could be feeling more fired up, more passionate, more beautiful or handsome, depending, more sensual and sexy, especially with Mars. So just be aware of that. And then for Jupiter, the taste that we got in May through, July of 2021 with Jupiter and Pisces, now we're getting the full meal, right? We got just a little taste, just a little bit. And now we're getting the full-fledged Jupiter in Pisces, what that energy is bringing us, what that energy is revamping in our life for us. On, April 12th, this is coming exact Neptune. This is in your 2nd house of your money, your materials, and your possessions, of what it is that you value, your value system. And so this is really beneficial. But Jupiter can also, for you specifically, because it is your 2nd house, this could see Jupiter kind of over expanding the money coming in and the money going out, right? So having Pisces as a 2nd house ruler with both rulers here, yes, this can be really, really good for you, but it can also kind of expand on the energy that's already been going on with Pisces here, or with Neptune here in Pisces for you, and kind of watering the system in terms of what it is that you have coming in for money, the bills you have going out, and it's just expanding on that. So the more money, the more problems. kind of energy, right? Or, you know, this could show up as maybe an easement of those burdens and limitations here. And so more money coming in, you're able to save, you're able to do what you need to do. Jupiter is a beneficial planet. And so, you know, around April 12th, see what that brings you, you know, just a few weeks before, a few weeks after the exact conjunction, and you'll get a taste of what this is for you specifically. And then May 11th, we are getting a taste of Jupiter in Aries, Jupiter in your third house. So this is coming trine with your descendant, sextile with your ascendant. So this could see more communication coming in, more communicating in general through October 29th, when it finally, from its retrograde on July 28th, going back into Pisces on the 29th of October. And so during that few months there, you could definitely be reevaluating, but also an expansion in terms of your conversations, what's going on every single day. Maybe you're launching a course, maybe you're teaching something, maybe you're writing something, or maybe you're taking a short trip somewhere, or short trips to places. So there could be that as well. And maybe there's an uptick in conversations with groups and associates and people that you, people that are in your network, people that are in the type of business that you do, if you do business, and there could be more conversations going on there. Jupiter does station to go direct at 28 degrees of Pisces, and it will be in Pisces for most of the remainder of the year in 2022. And then in 2023, we'll get the full taste of what Jupiter has to offer in Aries. So we'll see what's going on there. We'll get a taste of it this year, and then we'll get the full-fledged Aries the following year. But there is a revisit happening, you know, between the end of October, the end of November, of that second house area of life for you, Aquarius, in terms of your money, your materials, your possessions, your finance, what it is that you value at that deep core level. So just be aware of that. And then Saturn is, you know, in your sign, coming off the square to Uranus in your fourth house. So there's been a lot of upheaval, a lot of change, a lot of weird happenstance going on the home front and with you specifically. And so, you know, Saturn is starting at 11 degrees at the beginning of the year, getting all the way. And so we'll be under that influence for January, right? Of Saturn and Uranus still squaring, moving on. The resolution point come February, March timeframe, we're out of that energy and we're moving forward. And by June 4th, you know, it will be stationing to go retrograde at 25 degrees. So depending on where your ascendant degree is specifically, or your sun or your moon, anywhere from 11 to 25 degrees, you're going to be having Saturn come through your ascendant. So having Saturn come through your ascendant, specifically your ascendant degree mark, it's going to change things for you. It's kind of a renewal of your fortitude, your longitude. That's a point in space. Your fortitude, your goals, your ambitions, your you know, your boss energy, right? And putting your nose to the grindstone and doing something. So yes, it can bring limitations, it can bring delays, it can bring all of that. But if you are doing your due diligence, Saturn will give benefit where it's due. It does station to go direct at 18 degrees of Aquarius, you know, October 23rd. So we just have a little bit longer to go with Saturn in Aquarius, and it won't be here again for another, you know, 28 to 30 years. So, you know, we are moving through this Aquarius part of our charts very quickly. And for you, that's you. You yourself are getting a renewal of Saturn and revamping who you are at a core level and in your body even. Just so you're aware. And then Uranus starts out the year, you know, in retrograde, very disruptive, coming off the back end of that, the last square between, you know, Saturn, but it's stationing. So we are going to, this whole month of January has a liberating quality to it, has a very disruptive quality to it, has a very shake up kind of energy to it. And it's going to be intense because it's stationing literally for the whole month. You know, it's coming to a standstill in the sky. So it's definitely going to be very liberating, very freeing, you know, depending on how you are, if you like change or not. Aquarius, this is happening in your fourth house. And so there's definitely a lot of changes that had to happen, that are happening, that did happen, and are continuing to happen on the home front and with you specifically. It does station to go retrograde at 18 degrees of Taurus. So we will definitely be revisiting some areas, but between 10 to 18 degrees of Taurus this year, if you have any planets or points at that 10 to 18 degrees, you will be feeling this quite strongly, especially between, you know, 9, 10, 11, 17, 18, 19 degrees of Taurus, not Aquarius. I know I wrote Aquarius, but it's Taurus. And then Neptune, you know, in your second house, this has been kind of free floaty kind of energy with the money coming in, the money going out, you know, highly spiritual. If you're in a spiritual business, this could be really lucrative. If you're not, and you're trying to like work and slave and make money and all of that, this could see money coming in and money going out really quickly. It's like you can't keep a hold of it. It's like water in your hands, right? So definitely pay attention to that, and try to maybe donate to a charity or something like that to help alleviate some of the harder energies of Pisces and Neptune second house kind of thing. So just be aware of that. And it does go retrograde at 25 degrees of Pisces, gets all the way back to 22 before it stations to go direct January 4th or December 4th, sorry. So June 28th to December 4th, we will see Neptune going retrograde. And so if you have any planets or points here or in any of the mutable signs, you're going to be feeling this in a little bit of a harder way than others. So just be aware of that as well. And then Pluto in your 12th house is going from 25 to 28 degrees, stationing to go retrograde back to 26 degrees before it goes direct. So there is definitely, Pluto is refining, because it is a fixed sign ruler, right? Pluto is here kind of really getting deep into the unconscious, rooting out that which no longer serves us, which is irrelevant to the times that we are heading into, or that you are heading into, specifically in terms of the sabotage and the self deprecation, things like that, and really kind of changing up, you know, what it is that you do for solitude, what you do for seclusion, whether or not you want to be in solitude or seclusion, or whether or not you want to be in the world and of the world. So there's definitely those types of things that are going on for you. And so that is what I have for you, Aquarius. I hope you like, share, subscribe, give me a follow, all that. I am on Instagram. So I hope that this was helpful and useful for you for the year ahead. So I'll see you soon.